Welcome all the Udemy students. Welcome to this course, Scripting for SAP GUI Protocol using HP LoadRunner 12.50. As the name suggests, for this particular course, I'm going to use the tool LoadRunner and 12.50 version. Okay. Honestly speaking, I should change that to Micro Focus now. It's no longer owned by HP anymore, but very popularly, the people say HP LoadRunner, so let me stick with that, because a lot of people still, it didn't register into their mind that, it is owned by or it is acquired by Micro Focus now. Okay, popularly it's still called HP LoadRunner, so that's why I left the name HP LoadRunner out there. And the next thing is, why can't we call this the course as SAP GUI Protocol, or performance testing using SAP GUI Protocol? Well, I wanted to set the expectations over here. This course is mainly for the scripting using SAP GUI Protocol. Okay, mainly concentrating on the scripting part. Okay, here we are not understanding the whole performance testing, or even the controller part and analysis part is covered, not in detail. A sneak peek, or it is covered, but only to a certain extent. Okay, just to give a feel for, but the whole concentration is there on the scripting part. So that's the reason why I thought I would name this course as Scripting for SAP GUI Protocol. Okay, but however, how to design the scenario, the basic scenario, how to run it, and what is the memory footprint for this, and what are the from the analysis side, what are the transaction codes that you can look into. The basic things are covered. Okay, so why so? The next question is why. Okay, I have already have another course on Udemy which says performance testing using LoadRunner 12.50 basics and advanced. That's where I have covered all the concepts related to performance testing. Okay, like workload modeling, performance testing lifecycle, NFR gathering, what is performance testing, load, stress, all that, and also in detail I have covered the controller and analysis part. And from protocol to protocol in LoadRunner, the scripting is the one which changes from protocol to protocol. Almost the execution in the controller and also analysis in the analyzer, it's pretty much the same. Okay, there are a little bit of variations, but most likely, here and there are small changes, but most of it is same. So I don't want to repeat the same thing again for this course. So the place where it changes from protocol to protocol, the area that changes completely is the scripting. Okay, so that's the reason why I have concentrated on the scripting part for this course. But however, the controller and analysis part has been covered, not in detail, but it's covered. Having set the expectations, let's get into this. The motivation. So I wanted to share my journey, in this video. I wanted to share my journey as to, what I thought, how this course actually, originated, and what motivated me. Couple of reasons. The first reason is obviously the success of my first course on Udemy, performance testing using LoadRunner 12.50 advanced and basics. It's a huge success. I haven't asked for better. It has a rating of close to 4.50. So that's a very, very good rating. I believe that's what, at least I felt it was a very good rating of 4.50. Okay. So pretty close to 300 to 400 students, I think. 300 students. I never paid that much attention, but I think it's close to 300-400 students at this point of time. So then it has motivated me to to create one more course. And then I thought about, let me concentrate only on performance testing, because that's where my expertise is. I've worked in performance testing for so long, so that's where my expertise is. So I thought I'll create one more course. So that's the first reason, the success of my first course. The second reason, okay, so I worked as a performance tester, performance test lead, performance test manager for quite some time. And while I was working, I had this dream of learning lots of protocols. LoadRunner do support lots of protocols. So I wanted to learn. There are two things I wanted to learn as a performance tester from a career point of view. One is lots of protocols, and the second thing is the performance engineering or the analysis part. I wanted to be super good with the analysis part, to such an extent that, I want to jump into the performance engineering area. That's one of the dream I had, and wanted to work on different protocols. Okay, so one is obviously what are the reasons, not only for me but generally. I realized later that a lot of people share that same dream, and these are the common aspects which I felt why I should learn a lot of protocols. And the performance engineering is, one is the job satisfaction and the respect that you get. Second is you're building your resume, you're making your resume rock solid every day, so that in the market your value goes up every day. With more protocols you have in your kitty, definitely your resume looks better and better. And also performance engineering also makes your resume better. And the last one is salary hacks. Not if you're sticking to the same company but you're changing the company. When you have all this knowledge, definitely it's easy to get another job, and that too with a very, very good salary. So that was my motivation, at least when I wanted to learn lots of protocols and good with performance engineering. So and later on, when I became the trainer, I got to work with a lot of wonderful people who are technically strong, very, very technically strong performance testing professionals. Then I realized that a lot of people share the same dream. They wanted to learn a lot of protocols. So thinking about all this, then I said, okay, let me concentrate on two things. One is keep creating the courses on protocols, and also at some point of time I'll create a course on the performance engineering part, or advanced analysis or performance engineering. So this is what eventually I wanted to do as I go forward. That's one of the things I'm concentrating now. So now this has motivated me to create this course. So this is the first course on the protocols, which is SAP GUI Protocol. So later on, my plan is to explore Java user, the web services, the true client, and there are a few more, I have in my mind. Now, as I'm creating this course, so a couple of challenges I've faced. Okay, so I wanted to share all that with you, just to see what are the challenges, how this course has originated. So you can see my passion as well in this, and probably then you can take the decision as to if you wanted to go ahead with this particular course or not. Okay, so there's only challenge, the biggest and the only challenge which I faced while creating this course is access to SAP servers, because I worked on the SAP GUI protocol quite some time back, and for a good amount of time to good enough to create the course. So the subject is not the challenge, but the challenge is access to the SAP servers. Okay, where will I get, how will I get, what do I do for that? Okay, so you do realize that I am a performance tester or a performance trainer, and I don't maintain any SAP servers because SAP is a completely different technologies. So I figured out a third-party vendor from whom I can purchase this SAP servers, access to the SAP servers, not the SAP servers itself, but access to the SAP servers. Okay, so each login, this is the cost associated with each single login, $10 per month per user. Okay, now let's look at the finances, or let's get into the financial part. How will it work out? So usually Udemy sells the course somewhere between $15, $20, or somewhere around that. Okay, so irrespective of the actual price, this is what the Udemy sells, somewhere around $15. And as a trainer, I don't get all of it. I get a very minor cut of it. Okay, I don't want it to reveal the percentages, but I get a minor cut on it. Now, definitely not $10. Definitely not $10. Okay, so providing separate access to each student is not a financially viable option to me. I'll go into the losses. Okay, so what I earn out of each student is way less than that. And if I am giving the access to each student for that too for each month I have to pay. So it will not work out. Okay, then I felt that the challenge was so big that, then I thought, maybe I'll drop creating this course. Okay, then I said, okay, there will be some people who will take advantage of it. Let me come out with some sort of plan. So I came out with the plan. Okay, let's look at the plan. So for the SAP access, okay, there are 3 levels of access that I thought I should provide. Okay, I came out with the plan. I discussed in detail about these 3 levels in one of the lectures. Okay, that I'm going to tell you the exact lecture number as well. Okay, but on the high level, I'll talk about this over here because I don't want to consume too much time over here. Okay, so there are 3 levels of access that I thought, I'll provide. Okay, one is access, which is shared by all the Udemy students of this course. It is totally free for the students. Okay, but there are some downside as to, like, if somebody is using it, you might not be able to use it, and there will be some challenges. So if you're ready for the challenge, you can go ahead with that. So you need not have to pay anything for the access. Okay, just pay for the Udemy course. That should be good enough. Now the level 2 is separate access, but it can be shared with 6 students. So for this, you just have to pay $2 US per month. Okay, or just 100 INR, 100 Indian rupees per month. Okay, so that's about it. So if you are living in some other country, so you can make the changes. You can convert that into your in your personal, your country currency, and you can do your math. Okay. And the third one is the completely standalone access, wherein you don't want to share it with anybody at all. So this is completely free of cost. You share it with all the students. So the chances, there could be chances that, somebody is stepping over. You might not get the access. You have to wait for the access and all that. Here is you share it to only 6 other people. So you will have a continuous access, even though you are sharing with 6 other students. I'll tell you why. Okay, but you have to pay a minor cost to it. And the third one is complete standalone, wherein you don't share it with anybody, completely yours and all that, but you have to pay a little bigger amount, which is $8 per month or 500 INR per month. So again, for these levels of different access, I've covered in one of the lectures very, very clearly. And that is also, the preview is enabled on that lecture. Looks like it is lecture 12. The lecture number can change because I'm still, tinkering around the course. I'm deleting some lectures, adding the lectures at this point of time a little bit. So it will be either 11th or 12th lecture. Okay, so I've enabled the preview. So definitely watch this particular lecture or see that particular lecture before you take the call. Okay, and understand these 3 levels of access. Now, little bit about me. Okay, my complete name is Anand Kumar Gupta and G. So if you're wondering what is this guy's credentials that that he has created this course, or what kind of experience he has, what kind of credentials he has, is he good enough? So quickly I'll cover that. Quickly I talk about myself. I got a full-time master's degree from United States, from University of Oklahoma. Okay, back in 2004. So right now the current occupation, corporate trainer, entrepreneur, freelance trainer and all that. I do handle freelance project as well. I do provide project support to the students. Whoever have issues, they just call me up. So I'll do that. And my work history right now, it is close to 14 plus years. Okay, of even though over here, it's like I pulled out this slide from one of my old slides, so it still says 13 plus years. So I have close to 14 plus years of experience. Just like most of the testers, I played around. I've worked in different testing areas: manual testing, automation testing, performance testing. So I have close to 5 to 6 years of extensive training experience on Performance Center, LoadRunner, StormRunner, Load, HP Diagnostics, and manual testing. Okay, handled 100 plus batches on different testing technologies. And I worked as a performance tester for close to 6 years, as I've told you before. And after doing my master's, I worked in United States for close to 6 years. Okay. And as I've just told you, I have an extensive experience on LoadRunner, Performance Tester, Performance Center, and HP StormRunner Load. Even on JMeter, I've done few projects. Okay, now wondering who is this course for? As I've already told you, okay, so you have prior knowledge on LoadRunner. Okay, so basic level, not advanced level, basic level, whether you worked on LoadRunner or you have taken my other course on Udemy, which is performance testing using LoadRunner 12.50 advanced and basics. So, or you have taken the course elsewhere. So as long as you have LoadRunner basic knowledge, you're good enough to take this course. Why? So I don't have the LoadRunner course, Kumar, can I take this course? Well, you could, but do understand that I am concentrating only on the scripting part. Okay, the controller and analysis, I'm covering very, very basic concepts. Okay, so if you have taken this course, you'll become good with the scripting of SAP GUI. It's totally independent. You need not have to know anything else, but you will be good with the scripting part itself. But analysis and controller, you will have to learn again. Okay, so that's the reason why I kept this as a prerequisite, who's this course for. And the next thing, who is this course for? As I've told you, anybody who wants to enhance your resume and wanted to add more and more protocols to your resume, yes. So this is your first step, and you can add this protocol called SAP GUI Protocol into your resume. By the way, I've covered basics and advanced as well. Okay, which means that you will be able to confidently put that in your resume and say that you have a working knowledge or your working experience on that. Okay, I have designed this course in such a way that you get into the projects, you will be able to handle the projects as well. This is something which I can confidently tell. Okay, and also one of the prerequisites is you have basic knowledge, basic scripting knowledge in general. Okay, just to have a basic idea as to how the logics works and all that. Okay, but that's not mandatory. You don't have the basic scripting knowledge as well, it's fine. But as long as you're working in the IT for a while, so that should be good enough. Okay. So why should I learn more protocols in the LoadRunner? So I've been answering this question, okay, right from the start of this video. Okay, so as you know, LoadRunner supports multiple protocols. As you can see, there are a hell lot of protocols the LoadRunner supports. Okay, I'm putting only few of them, but there are a whole lot of protocols. Okay, so more protocols you add onto your skill set, stronger your resume becomes, thereby increasing your opportunities. When I say opportunities, the opportunities could be newer company, moving from maybe manual testing to performance testing, or giving an value add to the team, saying that I have all these protocols, I know all these protocols. Or if you go out, okay, if you're applying outside, then that's a huge value addition. Okay. So as I've told you, this course goes into the advanced topics, not just the basic topics. Yeah, it starts with basics, but slowly it gets into the advanced topics. It gives you a logic as to how this protocol is working. It is actually working on a concept called objects and the control IDs, which I cover very in detail over here. So that's what it is. And then since I get into the advanced topics, you'll be able to handle the real-time projects, definitely. And also, without handling the projects as well, if you're going for the interview, you should be able to answer the interview questions, most of them. Okay, if you have followed this course well and practiced this course well, even though you haven't worked on it, you went into the interview, you should still be able to answer it, because I covered a lot of functions, SAP GUI functions. Okay, so you should be able to talk about that. Now we'll get into the course syllabus as to what will be covered as a part of this course. Okay, so with all the extensive experience, I've carefully designed this course, okay, just to meet the job market and industry needs. So first I started with the introduction of LoadRunner, okay, like what is the LoadRunner architecture, what is load generators and all that, how these 3 components or 4 components, VUGen, controller, analysis and load generators interact with each other. I've covered that as a part of introduction to LoadRunner. Then obviously we need to install the LoadRunner, okay, that is there. And the third chapter is introductions to SAP. Okay, so here I've told you how to install the SAP client, or people popularly call it as SAP login launchpad. Okay, how to make a connection string, how to connect to the SAP servers, how to access the SAP. And then I went through few business processes, mainly in the material management, purchase order, purchase requisition, how to create a purchase order, how to create the purchase requisition, and also give you a ballpark idea about all the other T codes is what we call it. Later on, as you look into the videos, you understand by the word called T code. Okay, so I talked about the different business processes or different T codes to do different business process on SAP. But there is one expectation that I wanted to set over here in this chapter is here. The idea is to teach you the LoadRunner on SAP, but not the SAP itself. Okay, don't expect that you will master SAP or you will learn SAP, all of the SAP and all that. No, I taught the SAP only that much which is required for me, so that I can start recording, or you can start recording and you can start playing back and all that. Okay, the only SAP that is required for this course, only that much I have covered. I didn't get into the depth of the SAP and all that. Okay, yes, for the interview purposes, you just have to explore more. Okay, but I gave you enough introduction so that you can explore more on the SAP side. Okay, but I wanted to set the expectations clearly over here that this course is how LoadRunner works on SAP, but not the SAP itself. So yes, little bit of SAP is, not little bit, but good enough SAP is covered. I mean, for a performance tester, but you have to explore more to become good with SAP. Okay. Now, the most important thing, record and playback using VGen or virtual user generator. So there are certain things on SAP servers you have to enable so that it will support the recording. So we'll start with that. Then we'll go ahead and record, and we will open the code and we'll go through the code very carefully and try to understand what is that code. Okay, how the code is being generated and all that. In that process, so we will understand something called object IDs, or the objects or the control IDs. Okay, so these objects or the control IDs play a very, very important role when it comes to the SAP GUI protocol. Okay, so we'll go really deep into it and we'll understand and we'll see how the objects are being defined, okay, in something called lrstrings.h. And from there we get into the concepts, like the standard concepts, like how to insert the transactions, how to put the randover points, how to put the think time, play around with the think time. Okay, the parameterization and all that we will cover, and we'll proceed further. But again, the course is so designed that you already know LoadRunner. Okay, so most of these topics, basic topics like parameterization and all that, are touched upon. Okay, we don't really go into the advanced topics of parameterization and all that. Okay, all these concepts are touched upon because my concentration is there on the scripting part of SAP GUI. Okay, so that's how the course is designed. And now here, making enhancements in the VGen. So this is what is important. So like, how do you do the error handling? What are the enhancements that you can do for the error handling? And how to use the verification point, how to retrieve some information from the status bar. There is something called a status bar. So how to retrieve the information from the status bar, all that is covered over here. Okay, these are the basic enhancements. Then after the basic enhancements, we get into the C programming. So C programming is extremely important for you to understand. So whatever the C programming that is required, all that basics are given over here. A good amount of time is spent. Okay, then we get into the advanced enhancements. So once you have the knowledge of C programming, now that gives me an opportunity to go into the advanced enhancements, and this is where your actual value addition for this course is. Okay, so then we'll talk about the verification points, okay, which is a part of advanced enhancements itself. Then this is very important, control ID to the LR parameters. Okay, this is also important. Almost in every single script, any enhancements starts with this. Okay, so how to convert a control ID to the LR parameter. Then file operations, very, very important over here. Like you have a script to one output and you wanted to give that as an input to the script 2, you have to have some understanding of file operations. Again, it is dealing with the C programming itself. So it is very, very important. Even in web HTTP HTML protocol, it is important, but it's even more important over here because almost in every single script, there is a dependency. Like every single script is dependent on its prior script, or a script which comes after that. So in other words, the output of the script 1 goes as an input to the script 2, and for that to happen, you have to handle it programmatically, and we are doing, and for that you need to understand the file operations. Okay, and this is the very, very important thing, guys. So I do give trainings to this on this SAP GUI protocol. Lot of my students, once they get into the real-time projects, they call me up and they say that I'm able to do everything and everything about this, but there is this one challenge which I am facing. I wanted to retrieve some value from the grid. In the SAP, there is something called grid, and sometimes you have to retrieve certain values from the grid. So this is the common challenge which is faced by a lot of performance testers. So I thought I had to include that in my course. So this is a wonderful thing. Okay, and challenges related to the date and time, how to use this LR save date time, and what kind of value addition, and finally the controller. Okay, executing the test using the controller, the basic understanding. As I've told you, the course is for the scripting, but I just have to show you how it is to put the scripts on the controller and run it, to show you how it is like. Okay, so executing them, designing and executing them, and finally the performance analysis. Okay, looking into the metrics. Again, I'm not going to show here opening the analysis and how the different things in the analysis, graphs and all that. Okay, but using the transaction codes, you'll be able to do the performance analysis. So I'll be covering two transaction codes. Okay, specifically two transaction codes. One is ST02 and one is ST06. So these are the two transaction codes that I will cover as a part of this course, and I will also give you what all the other transaction codes that you have to explore, so that you can do the analysis using the T codes, the SAP T codes itself. So this is what the course syllabus is, guys. Okay, and about this session, totally it's a 13-hour course. Okay, very extensive, very exhaustive. Okay, so it goes from the basics and it goes into the advanced topics. Totally 62 lectures are there, which are divided into 14 chapters. And there is the one final request I have, or the instruction. I can say it as a request or a strict instruction. Okay, if you are planning to take this course, there is one thing I want you to be aware of. Okay, so SAP allows 6 concurrent logins with the same user credentials. So whatever the user credentials it is there, SAP allows 6 concurrent logins, which means that at a point of time, with a single user ID, there are 6 people who can use the SAP. Okay, so for this reason, okay, please remember that you have SAP access is shared with your fellow Udemy students, as I've told you. Okay, unless you go with the level 3, if you're going with level 1 or level 2 of access types. Okay, so level 1, level 2, level 3 is what I have designed, guys, so that I can give the access. There is no, in the SAP itself as such, there is no level 1, level 2, level 3. I have divided that into level 1, level 2, level 3, so that I can provide the access to it. So if you're not purchasing the standalone, and if you're planning for the level 1 or level 2 access, then definitely it is shared with your fellow Udemy students. Okay, and at a point of time, for a single user ID, SAP allows 6 concurrent logins. So most likely you might be seeing this screen during the login. If somebody else have logged in with that user ID, you will be able to see this screen. Okay, so now if you go with the first option, continue with login and any other end any other logins in the system. Okay, which means that whoever is already logged in and working, you're kicking them out. Okay, I don't want you to do that. So terminate this login. So which means that you will not be able to log in. So you have to use the second option, which is very, very, very important. Okay, please go ahead and use this second option. Okay, I would say it's not a request, but it's a strict instruction, so that seamlessly you are using it and there are no other people, you're not troubling other people, at the same time you're accessing it as well. Okay, as I've told you, please follow this guideline very strictly, so that you'll not be disturbing other students while accessing the SAP service. So this is the only request I have, or the strict instruction I have, if you're planning to purchase this course. Okay, finally, these are my contact details. Okay, any issues, any questions, anything, I'm always there for you. Okay, so you can either email me on that or you can WhatsApp me on that. So that's it, guys. So I hope this video will help you to make a decision if this course is for you and if this course is any value addition for you. So I wish you good luck whether you're planning to take this course or not. So as a performance tester, I hope you have a wonderful career.